Okay, welcome back to the It Bees Like That podcast. I'm your host, Chris, as always. So, I'm looking at myself in the monitor right here, and I realized that I have on, again, at least the same hoodie. The headband's different. I just wanted to point that out and get in front of it, so I don't want to hear anybody talking about I'm dirty. Because I might be a little dirty. I'm like mildly dirty. But I'm not so dirty that I like re-wear the same dirty clothes every day. What'll usually happen, if you see me in the same clothes from day to day, is I'll come home, they'll be washed. And then those will be the clothes on top of all of the other clothes. So just like kind of instinctually acknowledge, like a nod to the lazier part of me. I won't dig for outfits. This is not my thing. So I'll just grab what's on top. It's clean. Let's do this. Anyway, now that's out the way. I want to talk about something that I was thinking about a little bit last night. I won't share what prompted this train of thought because I don't know how important that is relative to the message that I'm about to deliver today. And what that is, or happens to be, first, I am completely aware that at least the form of addict or addiction that I'm recovering from, I realize that I'm in the minority class compared to the overall population, at least in the United States. I get that we all abuse different things, but the way that my addiction presents and manifested in its worst form in my life compared to the rest of society makes me a very small portion or percentage or representation of society, if that makes sense. So I don't have this idea that everybody is just a super addict or alcoholic like me. I know that not everybody at their worst is falling down, peeing the bed, breaking a collarbone, smashing your orbitals drunk like me. No shame, no secrets when it comes to that stuff, but I wanted to get that out and understood clearly. Do I have any weird ideas or beliefs that, especially when we're talking about young people, that it's not normal for young people to experiment and even go past experimentation to just straight up party for a while? You know, we're talking about some years, you know what I mean? No, that's completely normal. Normal being the relative term. I don't think that it's uncommon or that it warrants an urgent need for concern, right? But as a parent or a person observing young people kicking it, partying, whatever, you take note, right? As is your job and responsibility to be aware. But when our babies become adults, their choices, and this is an important thing to understand, their choices are their own now. We will continue to rescue them at points, but it is paramountly important for them to make their own decisions and be accountable for what's on the other side of each of those, right? Of course, we can still be there to guide them, offer our experience as kind of like a lighthouse in the storm, so to speak. You know, maybe we can kind of shelter them a bit or offer them shelter and peace in times of instability and chaos. But listen, I get it. And I don't hold or pass any undue or severe judgment on people who are living their lives. Look, man, because I've done it. I've drank my 40s and smoked my weed and did my whatever else. You know what I mean? Like I've been about that life for a minute. So, nah. I don't look at other people And it's like, ew. I mean, listen, I don't either have a belief that any and everyone who has the experience of, like, kind of sowing those wild oats, that for them, those experiences are going to turn into or grow into full-blown addiction as they did for me. That doesn't happen for a lot of people. It doesn't happen for a lot of people. A lot of people, it plays its course, runs its course. They get it out their system. They age out of it. They grow up. They meet someone. They fall in love. They start a family, start a career. So goes the song. But sometimes it doesn't go that way. Sometimes it goes the way that it went for me. So, not to set aside anyone, but maybe when I deliver messages on recovery and addiction and abuse, maybe there are parts of those stories or reflections that apply to a lot of people, or a broader spectrum of people. But in those moments, what I'm doing intentionally is speaking directly to the people who are impacted the most by what I went through, having the same experiences, going through the same challenges with addiction and drug abuse. If the shoe don't fit, the shoe don't fit. This is a really peculiar thing about social media, right? Because looking into the camera, you watching me, it can feel like I'm talking to you. My wife has told me before with some of the stuff that I posted on social media, like she's had to man, this talk, who is he talking to? It feels like he's talking to me. I've had other friends reflect the same sentiment and feeling about some of the stuff that I post. Maybe it just so happens that I speak directly to feelings and experiences really well, and it resonates with people. And sometimes it hits a little different if it's not like a warm and fuzzy thing that we're talking about, But if we're not going to call it out, who's going to talk about it? Like, we have to call these things out. I have to do this in my life to heal from this shit in my life. That's how I've grown in my life, is calling this shit out. You have to identify these things. Then you can come up with strategies and plans to either overcome, work through, process, whatever it is you got to do to relieve some of that stuff. Hopefully all of it, if not all of it. But no, there's no, come on. Petty Chris is alive and well, but I'm not talking in any of these episodes or any of the messages or stories that I deliver about my experience. There's no hidden shade. I'm not speaking directly to any one person in particular. Come on, man, that'd be kind of a waste of energy. And I would need to really do a lot of reflection where I'd dedicate any amount of energy in that sense. Come on. I would much rather I'd let people live their life, do what they do. And if it's serious enough, then we can work it out. We can break it down, we can talk about it. But outside of that, no, I'm not entertaining all that stuff. It is a little frustrating sometimes when, I don't know, the human in us makes us believe that we're the main character in everyone's story because we're our own favorite topic. So we must be the favorite topic of all of those around us. Man, I'm sorry. It just don't go like that. That's just not the case. And when I say that, look, everyone who knows you isn't thinking about you as much as you do, right? That's not an insult. That's not a shot at anyone. And I'm not taking shots at anyone in particular right now. I'm just saying, like, I think about me more than anyone else does. The same as you think about you, same way you think about you more than anyone else does. That's just how this stuff plays out. That's just how we're wired. It's how we operate. I don't give a damn how much of a cheerful giver of your time, service, and resources you are. You still think about you more than anyone will ever think about you. Straight up. Besides God. That's just how that goes. So, all that to say, There are things and times in life where they need to be taken very seriously. And that's not all the time. There are lots of times in life where you gotta just let that shit roll off of you and not pay any mind or attention to the opinions, thoughts, or voices of other people, especially when they don't serve to fill your cup, help you get better, make others better. You know? Yeah, we gotta be open to criticism, but if you can tell that that's all you get from a single source, come on. Just let it go. Let it go. It's not for you. We experience people in this life. They should at different points give you different looks. What am I talking about? They should at different points give you love. At different points will frustrate you. At different points they will inspire you. At different points they will teach you. You know what I'm saying? Like, not in a traditional sense. Maybe they won't sit you down and be like, look, I know this formula and I'm about to lace you up with it. No, it might be, damn, okay, well, that experience that didn't feel very good. Maybe I should reevaluate how I allow people to interact with me. Yeah, not everybody's a drug addict. Not everyone's an alcoholic. A lot of people have a lot of problems that are just as challenging. Like I said before, the problems that any individual has are just as real for them as my biggest problems are as real for me. Then you have to really think about that and let that sink in. Everybody got problems. Everybody's being challenged. Everybody's being tested. Yep, and sometimes we have to blaze our own new trails and figure things out on our own. I've had to do that a bunch in my life. In closing, I will add this though. Speaking from experience, it's cool, man. Listen, if you're out there kicking it, having a good time, partying, doing what young people do, you're knee deep in some young person stuff. That's all right. That's normal. Just do your best to keep in mind that I want you to enjoy these times. Like, these are formative years in your life, right? So think about that. Think about what you're filling them with. Think about what you're spending these days, weeks, months, years on, because you don't get them back. And sure, memories, valuable memories are defined by the person who experiences them. I get it, but look, man, I've been there. In the moment, in my 20s, you couldn't change my mind about it. But now, in my mid-40s, I'm looking back. A lot of that stuff, man, I realized I wasted a lot of time. And I spent a lot of time disconnected. And booze, weed, whatever else, all of these things disconnect you. Disconnect me from what? Well, you take your pick. Higher consciousness, your higher power, spiritual sense, whatever. These things disconnect us. And we don't get that time back. So, yeah, you know what I mean? Just some food for thought, things to think about, considering your next steps. As a person who's lived through all of this stuff, looking back, really we do want better experiences for the young people coming up behind us or coming up next. That's really what we want. And sometimes that message can get lost, and y'all young people might feel like we're coming down hard on you or that we don't understand. Trust me, we get it. We get it. We were young before too. We went through all the same stuff, I feel like the world is so much, is just too different than when we came up. Well, in some ways that might be true, but in others, it's all the same stuff. It's all the same stuff. Anyway, if you didn't do it on the way in, y'all better start doing this on the way out. Hit that like, subscribe, post notification bells so you can stay up to date. See my face. You know what I mean? Come on, let's set these premieres and everybody, let's run it up, y'all. Peace out.